Welcome back to Game On. Kicking things off, we had the Colac Tigers and Bell Park Dragons play at a thrilling at 1 point game, but it wasn't without some controversy there, mate.
Yeah, it was hard to know where to start though. There was so much to pack into that game. But yeah, I think the players were really confused when that final siren blew. I think Army said it perfectly in the paper that no one really knew what to feel. But yeah, it did feel like the siren blew early. I worked out that the stoppage time of the Adam Garner send-off, Jared McCormack had a blood rule, a couple of goals in there too, and a premature siren. All of that added up to about 3 minutes, which leaves 2.5 minutes for the ball to be thrown up and thrown back in. And I'm not a timekeeper, but that felt low for us. But I heard the Bell Park coach say on the radio that who's to say if we didn't play on that Bell Park were going to kick a goal or two, if play was to continue. So I still feel like the blame falls to us a little bit.
Yeah, and with the margin sitting at 49 in the second quarter, I think it was. How do you guys manage to read it back in?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the game, by the end of it, coming back from that margin, I feel like the overall feeling was positive. We got beaten by what we knew in that first quarter. Bell Park are a high scoring team from turnover, but they struggle at centre clearances. They rank 8th in the competition for clearance, and we rank 4th. So we beat them 53-28 for the day from clearance, but they scored 91% of their scores from turnover. So 7 Army tactically were really good at quarter time. They made a few adjustments. Our forwards were getting too high up the ground, which meant that when we won the ball from contest, that we were just kicking to Bell Park defenders who had sat back a little bit. So I was really impressed with them. They were really level-headed at quarter time. If you go down 6 goals to nil, you sort of feel like there might be a spray coming, but they kept level head and made that margin feel like it was achievable to chase down. Just finally, with some notable players for the day, Zach Zeibel had a terrific battle in the ruck. He had 22 disposals, 11 clearances and 4 inside 50s. Jared Walters was back in this week. He was really good. He had 30 disposals, 7 clearances and 4 inside 50s. And then Joffy Simpkin again stood up, the 37-year-old. He's got a world of experience, but he just has a knack for getting in the right spot at the right time, and had 15 touches and kicked 2 goals late in that fourth quarter.
In Colac Tigers netball, unfortunately the girls weren't able to get a win against Bell Park, falling to a 5-goal loss in a 51-46 match. But they started the game really strong, guys. Dominant 18-5 opening quarter. Unfortunately, the Tigers' attack did slow down from the second quarter onwards, only scoring 8 goals before the mid-game break.
Yeah, Mary Play, she had a really strong first quarter, but after that, Bell Park, they double-teamed her, and it just kind of lacked a bit of flow going into attack, the Tigers, after that.
Yeah, and Coach David Boyce has said that the big thing coming out of half-time was that the Dragons came out and really ran them over, based a lot on their energy. They were feeding off the crowd, Boyce said, and he's also gone on to say, we've still got a lot to like about what we're doing, but it was one that definitely got away from us. And they are disappointed in the loss, as you'd expect. Yeah,
well, it is one that got away because they played 2 top 4 teams over the next fortnight in Geelong West and South Barwon. So yeah, they'll be hurting a little bit, I reckon.
Illawarra Biak has moved one step closer to securing a spot in the final 5 following a must-win game over Birregurra. The Bombers, they've now moved into 4th spot, and they will require just one win against either Otway or Colac Imperials from their remaining 2 games to lock away a final spot.
Yeah, the Bombers coach, Cam Parker, said his side rose to the occasion on Saturday. They placed a bit of emphasis on the game during the week. They want the destiny of finals football in their hands, and they just about did that. They flew out of the gates with a 4-goal-to-1 start. Birri did cut back the margin, mind you, to 9 points at half-time, but yeah, they really own the game, the Bombers.
Yeah. That's it. And on Birregurra's side, Coach Dave McNeil said his side lacked a bit of forward-half connection at times in the game. Flynn Draper made his senior debut for the Saints, while Liam Bennett split his eye in his first senior game.
South Colac has continued its push for a top 5 spot, beating Apollo Bay by 142 points, but I think Brad Circuit and his side know that their destiny falls in the hands of other results.
Yeah, that's right, Coop. The Roos rebounded from a really tough 2-point loss the previous week to Illawarra Biak, but they had the highest scoring game of their season on Saturday. Debutant Blake Gardam opened Saturday's scoring in what Circuit described as a really good first senior game.
And yeah, Brendan Monaghan, he played a bit more time forward for the Roos. He's obviously carrying a bit of soreness, but he was really damaging in attack. Kicked 6 goals, which was pretty impressive. But Circuit, he also praised Apollo Bay. He said, even though they haven't won a game this year, they just really cracked in all day and made it really hard for his side.
Colac Imperials defeated Simpson by 99 points on the weekend, and Imps coach Bailey Scott has joined Dom Dare atop CDFNL's goal-kicking ladder. He had an 8-goal haul, which helped lead the Imps to a win over Simpson. He's now booted 47 goals on the season out of the midfield, with Saturday's game being his biggest return on the year. Scott said he was pleased with his side's second half, saying that they were strong around the footy, and that Imps midfielders were pretty efficient going forward. And in the Lawn Western Eagles game, Lou, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there. Lawn, they were really impressive. They bounced back from their loss against Alvey last week, and 114 point win over the Eagles. And the first half was actually pretty even. Like, the Eagles had chances. They were in the game, but after half time, Lawn just ran over the top of them, and that's what Eagles coach Dan Casey said. He said his side didn't have the legs to run with Lawn, and they were just beaten in clearances and on the outside as well.
Yeah, just to round out the weekend, Alvey, too good again. They beat Otway Districts by 119 points, and Dom Dare says his side is just fine-tuning some areas of improvement ahead of their finals campaign. The Demons were no match for the firepower Alvey have down forward. Dom Dare kicked 5, Jesse Williamson, he had 3, and Will Ruddle, he kicked 3 as well. They led the way.
In CDFNL Netball, Alvey defeated Otway Districts in a 53-52 battle. It's now back-to-back 1-goal wins for the Swans. But Otway were down by 3 goals at half-time before managing to bring this one real close late.
Yeah, well, the Swans, they love a tight contest. 6 of their 12 wins have come by a margin less than 5 goals. But in fairness to the Demons, they've been a bit unlucky too. They've lost 5 of their 13 games from that same margin.
Yeah, and the Swans, they were thrilled with Hannah Stowe. She stepped up from B grade and played a full game in goalkeeper. And for the Swans, it keeps them in 3rd place on the ladder, just 2 points above Birregurra.
Birregurra is the only team to beat Illawarra Beck this season, but they weren't able to repeat round 7's outcome on Saturday, going down by 3 points, Jamie.
Yeah, Bombers coach Norelle Frith said that the goals were a little bit off, and Jeremy Robinson admitted to that. But she did a lot of great other work around the court, and Rachel Seabright was also very solid. Frith said that teenagers in the side like Isabel Perkins, Ruby Hall, Emmy Frith were the ones that really helped get the Bombers over the line in that final quarter.
Yeah, Birregurra mid-quarter, Beck Dendel, she started for her side, and they had her close friend Alicia Blaine. She helped out as well during Cobden's Hampden League bye. So she was handy in the mid-court for the Saints.
Simpson were defeated by Colac Imperials on Saturday, 56-42. The 14-goal loss means the Tigers are now out of contention for finals. The Imps led at the end of each quarter in this game. Imps coach Chloe Gray said Shay Dennehy was an absolute standout in defence, saying the Simpson shooters have a really great connection on a week-to-week basis, and their shooting accuracy is great, but Shay did a really good job limiting their effectiveness. Tigers coach Emily Dynhoven shouted out centre Sophie Taylor, goalkeeper Holly Dynhoven, and goaler Eliza Dynhoven in their strong showing against the Cats. And Lou, as you said, you were there for the football. What did you see from the netball?
Yeah, Lawn, they kept their finals hopes alive, but it was only they only just got over the Eagles. It was a 2-goal game, and for Lawn, it was Sade Stafford. She continued her incredible accuracy, 41 goals from 44 shots. But for Lawn, they're going to need South Colac to drop one of their 2 games for them, for any chance for them to make finals.
Yeah, and just lastly, South Colac made light work of Apollo Bay, winning by 44 goals in the end. Coach Kelsey Jeffries, she said Sienna Milverton started the game really well. Janelle Monaghan was really good, really consistent throughout the game. But the big takeaway was Maggie Eldridge. She brought up 50 goals for the game, which is the first time she's surpassed that mark for the season. Yeah, she had 53 goals from 62 shots, which was good to see.
In the hot shots in the week, starting off the list, as Cooper's just said, Maggie Eldridge, her 53 goals from 62 shots against Apollo Bay starts us off. Sade Stafford, 41 from 44. Little tidbit, guys. Sade scored 209 goals from round 12 onwards at a 93% accuracy, it's going well the last few weeks for her. She was second on the list against Western Eagles, and rounding out we have Hayley Foster with 38 goals from 50 shots against Otway Districts.
Looking at the weekend's baseball news, boys, I'm a bit worried about the Division 2 Braves. They look to have the wobbles a little bit. They lost 5-1 to the Lara Wildcats, which makes it 2 losses in the fortnight. The Wildcats struck first in the opening inning. They brought in 2 runs to get away quickly. Yeah,
it was a massive game built up by President Jamie Harris throughout the week, and Colac battled to stay in touch in the contest, but Lara added to their lead with runs in the 5th and 6th innings to push it out of reach. Brad Egan pitched 5 innings, struck out 7, allowed just 1 earned run from 7 hits.
Brendan Delarenzo and Josh Hay led the Braves offense, both collecting 2 hits each, while the Division 4 side, they had a strong 16-2 win against Ballerine to remain on top of the ladder. Moving on to the Rovers, now there was a tough week for the club. They had a 7-0 loss in the Division 1 to Golden Plains. In the Division 2, a 2-0 loss to Barwon Heads, and for the women's it was a 10-0 defeat to Armstrong United.
For the Colac Herald's Players of the Week, guys, I'm going to twist the rules a little bit. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go the 3 Bomber teenagers helping overcome Birregurra late in the 4th quarter. Isabel Perkins, Ruby Hall and Emmy Frith.
Yeah, mine's Bailey Scott. He kicked 8 goals against Simpson and he's tied with Dom Dare now with 47 goals for the season. And what about yours, mate? Is it the Bell Park timekeeper? Or?
No, Laurie, you may get me in a bit of strife there. I'm going with Jaron McCormack. He had a best on ground performance for the Tigers on the weekend, and while he didn't light up the stat sheet, he was incredibly influential at both ends of the ground and really helped us rein in that margin.
Thanks for watching Game On. We'll be back next week with all the sporting action from the weekend.